Have you ever wondered why comfort feels so beautiful yet leaves you so empty? Why every time you choose the easy way, something deep inside whispers, you were made for more? My friends, comfort is the most silent thief of greatness. It comes dressed as peace, but it steals your potential in silence. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in everyone's life when we start believing that comfort means happiness. We think staying in familiar zones, avoiding pain, and escaping challenges will keep us safe. But the truth is, comfort kills dreams faster than failure ever will. Comfort makes you forget who you are meant to become. It teaches you to settle when life was designed to make you soar. We wrap ourselves in routines that no longer serve us, relationships that no longer grow us, and fears that no longer protect us. And slowly, we stop evolving. We stop living. The hidden cost of comfort is invisible at first. It looks peaceful, calm, and easy. But over time, it takes away your courage, your hunger, and your purpose. It turns warriors into wanderers, dreamers into doubters, and believers into bystanders. The cost of comfort is not what you lose today, it's who you fail to become tomorrow. So today, let's unveil the hidden costs of comfort that silently drain the greatness within you and how to rise beyond them. Comfort makes you forget your strength. The easiest way to weaken a warrior is to take away the battlefield. The moment life stops challenging you, your inner fighter begins to sleep. You start to forget how strong you are because you no longer need to prove it. Comfort makes you soft not because softness is wrong, but because it makes you forget the power you were born with. You were created to rise after storms, but comfort convinces you that the calm is enough. Strength is not found in stillness, it is forged in struggle. You discover your courage when you face your fears. You discover your resilience when you fall and still choose to rise. When you choose the easy road, you deny yourself the lessons that build your soul's muscles. You begin to doubt your capability not because you've failed, but because you haven't been tested in so long that you've forgotten your own magic. Comfort tells you that peace is the absence of struggle, but true peace is the presence of strength within it. It's standing tall in the middle of the storm and saying, I can handle this. Comfort hides that truth from you. It wraps you in safety until your spirit becomes too fragile to face the winds that were meant to help you fly. Every time you choose ease over effort, you quietly lose a piece of your power. There comes a point when comfort becomes your invisible cage. You stop stretching your limits. You stop daring. You stop growing. You look around and everything seems fine, yet inside, you feel an unspoken emptiness. That's your potential calling out to you, begging to be used again. It's the echo of your own strength, asking to be remembered. You see, comfort doesn't kill you overnight. It kills you slowly by convincing you that you don't need to rise anymore. It steals your bravery and replaces it with excuses. It teaches you to stay quiet when you were meant to roar. And the saddest part is, you think you're choosing peace, when in truth, you're choosing paralysis. True strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from transforming it. Every scar you've earned has made you wiser, braver, and stronger. But when you stop walking into the unknown, your spirit forgets how to fight, how to heal, how to believe. Comfort makes you forget that you've survived everything that once tried to break you. The cost of comfort is that it erases your own reflection. You forget the warrior you once were. You forget the fire you carry within. And one day, you wake up realizing comfort didn't protect you. It weakened you. Comfort destroys curiosity. When you were a child, the world was a mystery. You touched everything, questioned everything, believed in everything. Every sunrise was a story. Every sound was a song. But as you grew older, comfort crept in and told you to stop asking, to stop wondering, to stop dreaming. It told you that curiosity was chaos and that questioning too much would only bring disappointment. And so, slowly, you silenced the voice of wonder inside you. Curiosity is what keeps the soul alive. It's the reason you seek, explore, and evolve. But comfort makes you feel like you already know enough. It gives you a script, same routine, same people, same emotions, and convinces you that it's enough to survive. But survival is not living, it's existing. And you were never meant to merely exist. When you stop being curious, life loses its magic. The world starts feeling smaller. Your dreams start feeling distant, and you begin to think that you've seen it all when you haven't even touched the surface of what's possible. Comfort makes your world predictable, and predictability is where passion goes to die. The more comfortable you become, the less curious you feel. You stop looking beyond the walls you built for yourself. You stop learning, exploring, evolving. You convince yourself that there's nothing more out there, not realizing that there's an entire universe waiting to meet your courage. Every great innovation, every extraordinary transformation was born from curiosity. The people who changed the world weren't the smartest. They were the most curious. They dared to ask why, how, and what if. But comfort kills those questions. It teaches you to stay satisfied with answers that keep you small. There is no growth without curiosity. There is no discovery without discomfort. When you choose comfort, you stop chasing wonder. You stop finding meaning in the mystery of life. You stop becoming more of who you were meant to be. Comfort numbs your imagination until you forget what it feels like to be excited about something new. And one day, you look back and realize comfort didn't give you peace. It took away your hunger to live. It destroyed your curiosity, and with it, your evolution. Comfort breeds fear of change. The longer you stay in your comfort zone, the more terrifying change begins to feel. What once was exciting now feels impossible. You begin to protect the life you have, even when it doesn't fulfill you, because the thought of losing control scares you more than staying stuck. Comfort feeds fear, the fear of falling, the fear of failing, the fear of beginning again. Change demands courage. It demands faith in what you cannot see. But comfort whispers, don't move. You might lose what you have. And so you stay still, not because you're content, but because you're afraid. You fear change, not because it's dangerous, but because you've forgotten what transformation feels like. Every season of growth begins with chaos. Every new chapter begins with discomfort. But if you let fear dictate your steps, you'll never reach the mountains meant for you. Comfort will convince you that stability is happiness, when in reality, it's the slow death of your potential. You'll begin to believe that the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same, and that's how comfort wins. But life is movement. The river never stops flowing. The sky never stops changing. The heart never stops beating. The moment you stop moving, something inside you begins to fade. Comfort makes you resist that flow. It convinces you to hold your breath in a world meant for expansion. Change may be scary, but stagnation is suffocating. You can't heal by hiding. You can't grow by waiting. And you can't discover new paths while clinging to old ones. Comfort tells you that you'll be safe if you stay still, but safety is not the same as life. Life is meant to challenge you, surprise you, and shape you into something greater. You were never meant to stay the same. Every ending in your life was designed to awaken something new inside you. Yet comfort makes you see endings as threats instead of beginnings. It makes you run from change when change is the very thing that would set you free, and that is the cost of comfort. It turns your wings into weights. It makes you forget that change was never your enemy. It was your doorway to becoming comfort. Makes you settle for less. There comes a point when you begin to confuse comfort with contentment. You tell yourself, this is enough. I should be grateful. And yes, gratitude is beautiful, but sometimes what you call gratitude is actually fear wearing a polite disguise. You start to settle, not because you've found peace, but because you're afraid of losing what you have. Comfort convinces you that chasing more means being ungrateful for what already is. But there's a fine line between appreciation and stagnation. And comfort makes you cross it quietly. You were born with a wild spirit that once believed anything was possible. But when comfort wraps itself around you, that spirit begins to whisper instead of roar. You stop dreaming the way you used to. You stop fighting for what sets your soul on fire. You start thinking that good enough is better than risking it all for great. And slowly, that fire inside you turns into glowing embers, still warm, but no longer burning. Comfort is the art of convincing yourself that mediocrity is enough. It tells you, why try harder when things are already fine? But you were not made for fine. You were made for extraordinary. You were made for mountains that test your legs and skies that test your wings. Yet comfort hands you a chair and tells you to sit down, stay quiet, and be safe. It doesn't shout. It soothes. It doesn't fight you. It hugs you until you forget you ever wanted to fly. Settling feels peaceful in the beginning. You feel secure, you feel safe, and you tell yourself that you've made the right choice. But deep down, there's a quiet ache that won't go away. It's the sound of your purpose trying to wake you up. It's the echo of dreams you buried under the blanket of comfort. That ache isn't restlessness, it's remembrance. It's your heart reminding you that you were made for more. You see, the tragedy of settling isn't that you lose everything, it's that you never find out what more was waiting for you. You never find out what strength, success, or story could have been yours if only you had dared to reach further. You trade the thrill of becoming for the illusion of stability. You tell yourself, at least I didn't fail. But deep inside, you know you failed to try. There is a kind of sadness that comes from knowing you played it safe your whole life. A sadness that no comfort can soothe, because it comes from unlived potential. The world is filled with people who once had dreams and now have regrets. Not because they weren't capable, but because comfort whispered, maybe later. Later became never, and never became their reality. Comfort makes you settle for a version of life that fits, but doesn't fulfill. And that's the most painful truth to realize, that you stopped chasing the life you wanted because you fell in love with the life that was easy. The cost of comfort is not the loss of success, it's the loss of your spark. You stop being alive and start merely surviving. Comfort silences your calling. There's a voice deep inside every soul, a quiet, persistent whisper that says, you were meant for more. But comfort has a way of silencing that voice. It surrounds you with noise, routines, distractions, responsibilities until you can no longer hear it clearly. You begin to live your life by patterns, not by purpose. You forget the dreams that once set your heart on fire because comfort convinces you they were just fantasies. Your calling doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It waits. It waits in the silence of your sleepless nights. It waits in that strange emptiness you feel even when everything seems fine. It waits in that tug you feel every time you see someone doing what you wish you had the courage to do. That's not jealousy, it's recognition. It's your soul remembering what it was created for. Comfort tells you that pursuing your calling is risky. It says, what if you fail? What if people laugh? What if you lose everything? But what comfort never tells you is, what if you lose yourself by never trying? The truth is, chasing your calling will cost you your comfort, but ignoring it will cost you your peace. You can't silence your purpose without silencing a part of your soul. You were born with gifts that no one else has. There are people waiting to be touched by your story, healed by your journey, inspired by your courage. But when you choose comfort, you hide those gifts from the world. You lock them away behind fear and call it practicality. You tell yourself, this is enough, when your heart knows it isn't. Comfort makes you live quietly when your purpose was meant to be loud. Life has a strange way of reminding you when you're off your path. It sends discomfort, boredom, frustration, and confusion. And instead of seeing them as signs to move, you label them as stress. But those feelings are your calling's alarm clock, ringing to wake you up. The question is, will you keep hitting snooze, or will you finally listen? Your calling doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. It's not waiting for you to be ready, it's waiting for you to be willing. Willing to leave behind comfort for conviction. Willing to exchange certainty for courage. Willing to walk alone if it means walking toward truth. Comfort will tell you to stay, but your calling will tell you to rise. And one voice will always win, the one you listen to the most. And that is the ultimate cost of comfort. It silences the song your soul came here to sing. It makes you forget your purpose, your fire, your essence. You live a life that looks peaceful, but feels painfully incomplete. You gain the world, but lose yourself in the process. Comfort doesn't destroy you loudly, it does so quietly, by making you forget who you were meant to be. In the end, the hidden cost of comfort is not visible until it's too late. It doesn't take your money, your home, or your relationships. It takes something far more precious, your becoming. It robs you of the lessons pain was meant to teach you, the beauty challenge was meant to reveal, and the strength struggle was meant to awaken. You think you're protecting yourself by staying comfortable, but in reality, you're protecting your fears and imprisoning your dreams. Every great story begins when someone decides that comfort is not their home anymore. If you're hearing this today, maybe it's time to stop chasing what feels safe and start chasing what feels alive. Step into discomfort, because that's where your growth hides. Embrace change, because that's where your purpose lives. Break the walls that comfort built around your courage, and let your spirit remember its wings. Life doesn't reward those who play it safe, it rewards those who dare to live fully. And the day you stop worshiping comfort is the day you start walking toward greatness.